5 years ago, I bought a massive 200-acre property in rural Oregon. It was mostly untouched forest, rugged hills, and a 30-acre lake in the middle, like a sapphire dropped from the sky. No roads led to it, no utilities ran nearby, and no people came close, just the way I liked it. I'd made my fortune early in tech. One successful exit and I was out. My plan was to disappear from city life, buy a piece of paradise. The land was cheap because it wasn't connected to any development zones. It was isolated, inaccessible for most, but to me it was perfect. I built a small off-grid cabin on the southern shore of the lake. I installed solar panels, used satellite internet, dug a well. I stocked the lake with trout and spent weekends fishing, reading, or kayaking in silence. It was heaven. Then Blackwood Ridge showed up like termites in a log cabin. They were a luxury development, gated homes, photoscan architecture, and HOA board members who wore polo shirts like armor. They built their community on the ridge west of my land. We weren't neighbors. We were adjacent worlds. At first, it was quiet until their president, Richard Vance, came knocking. He was all smiles, offered to collaborate, said the community would love access to the lake. I declined politely at first, then he tried to buy it 3 times. His last offer was $1, $2 million. I laughed and walked him to the gate. He didn't take it well. A few months passed. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. One morning, I woke up to the distant rumble of engines. I stepped onto my porch with a cup of coffee and saw something that made my blood run cold. Bulldozers on my land. They had already cleared a 50-foot path through the tree line on the northwest side, close to where a narrow creek exited the lake. I drove over and demanded answers. The foreman handed me a copy of a county development permit. It named Blackwood Ridge, HOA, as the applicant. Their plan, a community-accessible ECO resort with cabins, a boat dock, and a shared water recreation area on my land. I was floored. The HOA claimed that because the creek feeding my lake originated in their territory and flowed through to the lake, I did not have sole ownership. They had successfully petitioned the county to reclassify the lake as a regional water asset under some obscure statute about shared waterways and underutilized natural features. They never notified me. Not once. I called the county. I got stone wild. I called a lawyer and everything changed. Enter Martha Hayes. Martha wasn't just a real estate lawyer. She was a shark in a tailored blazer. When I told her what happened, she raised one eyebrow, then opened a legal pad and said, "Let's burn them to the ground." She got work fast. Within 48 hours, she filed an emergency injunction. Construction was halted. I camped out near the bulldozers with a shotgun just to send a message. The HOA sued back within a week. They claimed historical access rights and watershed integration. Their legal argument was garbage, but they had money and connections in the county. The next 2 years were brutal. They dragged me into court every other month. They argued that since the creek flowed from their land and had historically passed through what was now mine, they had vested recreational claims. Total nonsense. But it burned through my legal budget like a wildfire. I sold my cabin and moved into a trailer on the land to cut costs. By year 2, I had burned through almost everything I had left for my tech days. That's when Martha called me. She said, "I found something, and it's going to nuke their case." Martha had been digging into historical land records, and she found something wild. The creek feeding the lake, it was man-made. Built in 1957 by the original landowners to divert runoff from nearby hills for logging operations. The flow was artificial. It wasn't a natural waterway at all. That meant the HOA's entire shared watershed argument was invalid. Not only did I own the land, I own the lake, the water in it, and every drop coming through that man-made creek. Martha grinned. We just flipped the board. The court agreed. Within 6 weeks, the HOA's permits were revoked. Construction was dead in the water. But I wasn't done because just before the ruling came down, I got a strange call from a man named Elias Grant. Elias Grant was the CEO of Aquaprime, a tech firm that specialized in ultra-pure water for semiconductor fabrication. They were building a new $7 billion facility outside Eugene, Oregon. He'd heard rumors of my legal battle from a friend on the county commission, and he wanted to talk about the lake. Apparently, my water was perfect for microchip production. Low sediment mineral composition, cold year-round, exactly what they needed. He offered me $50 million for the land and water rights. I paused. Then I had a better idea. Martha and I worked with Aquaprime for 6 weeks. We built a custom contract. Instead of selling, I leased the water rights for 99 years. The deal, $32 million per year, adjusted annually for inflation. Aqua Prime got full access and control of the land surrounding the lake for environmental integrity. In essence, my peaceful hideaway became a high-security industrial water source. No boats, no fishing, no tourists, and certainly no HOA. Word spread fast. Blackwood Ridge's dream of a resort vanished overnight. Investors backed out. Property values dropped 40% in a single quarter. Worse, Aqua Prime built a perimeter fence around the entire lake, citing water protection regulations. They installed cameras, drones, even security patrols. Nobody got in or out without clearance. Their lakefront fantasy was gone. Richard Vance tried to sue again. It went nowhere. Then came the audits. Turns out the HOA had misappropriated funds trying to grease the wheels of the county approval process. Vance was charged with fraud. He stepped down in disgrace and vanished from public life. Within a year, the HOA imploded. Residents bailed. Some homes sold at half their previous value. Others sat empty. The ridge that once looked down on my land like royalty became a ghost town. Today, I live in the Bahamas. I check my Oregon account once a year, usually on my birthday. Like clockwork, $32 million lands with a quiet ping. I still technically own the land. Aqua Prime just leases it. Every once in a while, I fly back in a private plane to visit. The trees have grown taller. The water is still clear. The lake hasn't changed, but the signs around it have restricted industrial water source. No access. Sometimes I smile when I see them. It's not just about money. It's about principle. About fighting back when people think they can take what's yours just because they have power, lawyers, and city connections. They tried to steal my lake. I made them regret ever trying. Don't mess with a man's lake, especially when he has nothing left to lose and everything to gain. Thanks for listening to our story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more real life stories that inspire, entertain, and sometimes make you cheer out loud.